There is an unspoken power in keeping your thoughts, actions, and plans to yourself. The world often teaches us the opposite: to boast, to share every detail of our lives, to announce our intentions before we act. Social media, conversations with peers, even casual office chatter encourage exposure. We are conditioned to equate sharing with progress, to believe that visibility equals validation. But the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. Those who reveal their moves too early often undermine their own success, while those who focus in silence, execute their plans quietly, and let results speak for themselves invariably win in the long run. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is a deliberate choice to observe, to absorb, and to act at the moment that maximizes impact. When you announce every small intention, you invite judgment, skepticism, and sometimes sabotage. People are rarely invested in your success the way you are. Some will attempt to steer you off course, others will unconsciously impose doubt, and some will simply envy what you are trying to create. By speaking less and doing more, you preserve your energy for the battles that truly matter, instead of wasting it on defending your ideas, convincing others, or seeking unnecessary approval. Consider the lessons from history. Alexander the Great never disclosed the full extent of his strategies before executing them. His opponents often underestimated his plans because his moves were hidden, calculated, and deliberate. In business, entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos quietly built Amazon for years, focusing on long-term growth rather than the constant chatter of competition or the noise of public opinion. Even in personal life, individuals who keep their ambitions private often reach levels of achievement that would have been jeopardized had they broadcast their every thought. Silence cultivates mystery, and mystery builds leverage. It keeps others guessing, and it keeps you in control. The first step in harnessing the power of silence is understanding your own mind. Most people crave recognition, instant validation, and feedback, and that craving drives them to announce every plan prematurely. We share ideas with friends, post intentions on social media, or discuss ambitions in meetings, hoping for support, reassurance, or applause. Yet, in doing so, we create unnecessary exposure. Every person you tell becomes a variable in your equation of success, and not all variables are beneficial. Every shared ambition invites opinions, advice, and judgment, which are often colored by the other person's fears, insecurities, or jealousy. By keeping your plans private, you remove these extraneous variables and focus on what matters: execution. Execution, of course, is the cornerstone of all achievements. Ideas are inexpensive, action is priceless. You might have a brilliant plan, but without implementation, it remains a fantasy, and the quieter you implement, the less resistance you face. People only react to what they can see. When your efforts are hidden, you are free to iterate, learn, fail, and improve without interference. The less attention you draw, the fewer obstacles you manufacture for yourself. Think about a chess player in the middle of a game. They do not announce their strategy to their opponent, nor do they discuss their intentions in the middle of a match. They observe, adapt, and act at the precise moment that ensures victory. Life, business, and personal growth are no different. Silence also allows for better observation. When you are not talking, you are listening. You can understand trends, detect opportunities, and read people's motives more clearly. Those who talk constantly often fail to notice what is happening around them because they are too focused on broadcasting themselves. There is a remarkable clarity that comes from restraint. By holding back your words, you give yourself the gift of perspective. You can see alliances forming, notice patterns in behavior, and identify weaknesses in systems and people, all while others are distracted by their own need to be seen and heard. It is crucial, however, to differentiate between silence as a tactic and withdrawal as a habit. Silence must be intentional. It is not about avoiding the world, shutting people out, or isolating yourself. It is about choosing when, where, and how to communicate. Intentional silence focuses energy, sharpens the mind, and preserves your influence. It allows you to act with precision. Indiscriminate silence, on the other hand, can lead to missed opportunities and misunderstandings. The art lies in balance. Speak when your words have weight, act when your actions can't be ignored, and keep the rest to yourself. Many of the world's most successful people understand this intuitively. Warren Buffett is famously private about his personal life and strategic thinking. Steve Jobs, despite his fame, often kept the full scope of Apple's innovations under wraps until the product launch. Their approach illustrates a profound principle: when you reveal too much too early, you surrender control. People begin to influence your direction, whether they intend to or not. When you act quietly and let outcomes demonstrate your intentions, you maintain authority over your path. There is also a psychological advantage to silence. When others are unaware of your full capabilities, they underestimate you. Underestimation is a powerful tool. It allows you to maneuver freely, make bold moves, and achieve objectives without opposition. Conversely, those who constantly announce their intentions are often met with resistance before they can even start. Critics and competitors position themselves to block, dilute, or capitalize on your plans. Silence is a shield. It protects your strategy until the moment you are ready to deploy it fully. At a personal level, keeping your ambitions private nurtures resilience. You cultivate the discipline to rely on your own judgment rather than external validation. Every small victory becomes intrinsically rewarding rather than being contingent on recognition. You learn to trust the process, respect the grind, and appreciate progress that is unseen. This internal focus creates a form of mental toughness that is difficult to achieve when constantly seeking applause. You become self-reliant, confident, and quietly formidable. Of course, silence alone does not guarantee success. It must be paired with clarity of purpose and relentless action. You cannot simply hide your intentions and expect results to materialize. Strategic silence amplifies the effects of purposeful effort. It is the quiet companion to relentless execution. While others talk, you work. While others debate, you build. While others seek attention, you refine your craft. Over time, your progress compounds. People notice results more than words, and results are impossible to ignore. An essential aspect of this philosophy is learning to control impulses. Our modern environment, saturated with instant communication, social media, and constant feedback, tempts us to share prematurely. Every platform encourages expression, visibility, and rapid opinion. Resisting this urge is not easy. It requires mindfulness, discipline, and a clear understanding of your priorities. Ask yourself, will sharing this move bring value, or will it expose me to unnecessary distraction? If it does not serve your purpose, keep it silent. Train your mind to value outcomes over acknowledgement. Moreover, keeping your strategies private fosters a form of accountability that is internal rather than external. When no one else is watching, your commitment is tested by your own standards. You do not rely on praise, pressure, or social reinforcement to maintain progress. You measure success by action and results, not by perception. This internal accountability is far more sustainable than external validation, and it builds character that persists through adversity. Examples abound in everyday life. Consider a small business owner working tirelessly to grow their company. Announcing every marketing plan or potential expansion invites critique, competition, and unnecessary pressure. By working quietly, testing strategies, and iterating in private, the business can reach milestones more effectively. Similarly, an artist who creates in solitude, without broadcasting every idea, can refine their craft until it reaches a level of mastery that speaks for itself. Their final work, when revealed, carries the weight of unseen effort, a testament to the power of discretion. Even relationships benefit from this principle. Not every thought, feeling, or plan needs to be verbalized immediately. Listening more than speaking, acting with integrity rather than announcement, and letting results demonstrate commitment or intention often leads to deeper trust, respect, and connection. People are naturally drawn to those who operate with quiet confidence, not constant exposition. Finally, the world rewards those who master the art of silent progress, those who understand the value of holding their cards close, executing with precision, and revealing outcomes at the optimal moment cultivate a form of power that is difficult to challenge. It is not flashy, it is not loud, and it is rarely applauded in the moment. But over time, silence becomes your ally, and success becomes inevitable. You learn that talking is easy, but doing is everything. You learn that the most impactful victories are the ones that emerge quietly from consistent, disciplined effort. You learn that when the time comes to reveal your work, your impact is magnified because it was earned in the shadows, away from interference, distraction, and judgment. In conclusion, the first step toward extraordinary achievement is embracing the power of silence. Guard your plans, observe your environment, execute with focus, and reserve your words for moments that truly matter. Cultivate discipline, internal accountability, and patience. Learn to value results over recognition, action over talk, and outcomes over applause. By doing so, you transform silence from mere absence of speech into a strategic weapon, a force that allows you to move, grow, and win with authority. Keep your moves private, focus quietly, and the world will witness your success, not your chatter. Focus is the quiet engine behind all achievement. It is the invisible force that separates those who dream from those who do. While ambition and intention are important, they are nothing without the concentrated energy of disciplined effort. Most people underestimate focus because it is subtle. It does not shout. It does not demand attention, yet it is far more powerful than noise, chatter, or recognition. To focus in the shadows is to harness the hidden strength of deliberate attention, to work unseen, and to allow results to reveal themselves when the time is right. The first principle of focus is clarity. You must know exactly what you are aiming for. Without clarity, focus becomes aimless effort. You may work tirelessly and yet feel exhausted with little progress to show. This is why so many people feel busy but remain stagnant. Clarity is the compass, and focus is the vehicle. Define your goal in precise terms. Understand not just what you want, but why you want it. Motivation rooted in purpose is far more sustainable than fleeting enthusiasm. Those who chase vague ambitions are easily distracted by setbacks, criticism, and temptation. Those who act with clear intent are resilient, adaptive, and unstoppable. Once your goal is clear, the next step is structure. Focus thrives in an environment of deliberate organization. Remove distractions from your physical, digital, and mental space. In today's world, attention is constantly under siege. Notifications, social media, emails, and casual interactions fragment your energy. When you attempt to multitask, your mind fractures, productivity plummets, and your progress slows. To focus in the shadows, you must create a controlled environment. Dedicate blocks of time solely to your objectives. Protect these blocks ruthlessly. Treat them as sacred appointments with your future success. Discipline is the foundation upon which focus is built. It is not glamorous, and it rarely attracts applause, but it is essential. Discipline is choosing what to do when you do not feel like doing it. It is showing up consistently, day after day, even when the work is tedious, uncomfortable, or invisible. Those who succeed quietly understand that the majority of effort happens in the unseen hours, when no one is watching, when rewards are delayed, and when progress feels incremental. Discipline allows focus to become habit, and habit compounds into mastery. Equally important is learning to resist distraction. Distractions are often disguised as opportunities. A casual conversation may seem harmless, a social media post entertaining, or a small detour exciting. Yet each distraction chips away at momentum. Every minute spent away from concentrated effort is a minute lost forever. Focusing in the shadows requires constant awareness of these traps. It requires the mental skill to say no, to defer gratification, and to prioritize what truly matters over what is merely tempting. The more disciplined you become in avoiding distraction, the faster your progress accelerates. Another essential element of focus is deep work. Deep work is the ability to engage in cognitively demanding tasks with complete attention and zero interruption. It is where skill development, creativity, and strategic problem solving occur. Shallow work, emails, routine tasks, idle browsing produces little of lasting value. By mastering deep work, you harness the hidden power of concentrated effort. Time spent in deep work is exponentially more productive than the same amount of scattered attention. Focused individuals quietly develop skills, innovate, and gain a competitive edge while the rest are lost in the noise of distraction. To focus effectively, it is crucial to cultivate patience. Results rarely manifest immediately. The world encourages instant gratification, making the act of waiting uncomfortable. But those who focus quietly understand that progress is often invisible until it reaches a tipping point. Seeds planted today may take months or years to bear fruit, yet the quiet, consistent nurture of your work ensures that when results arrive, they are substantial and undeniable. Patience allows you to remain disciplined, maintain perspective, and avoid the temptation to abandon your plans prematurely. Mental clarity is another cornerstone of focus. The mind, like any instrument, must be maintained. Regular reflection, meditation, and journaling help identify priorities, eliminate mental clutter, and sustain concentration. When the mind is overloaded with random thoughts, worries, or obligations, focus diminishes. By dedicating time to mental clarity, you create a fertile ground for deep work and strategic action. The clearer your mind, the sharper your decisions, the more effectively you move toward your goals. Focus in the shadows also means controlling your energy. Physical, emotional, and mental energy are finite resources. Those who succeed quietly understand how to allocate energy intelligently. They sleep well, eat properly, exercise, and manage stress. They do not waste energy on unnecessary arguments, ego-driven disputes, or attention-seeking behavior. Energy management ensures that when it is time to act, you are fully capable, alert, and effective. Energy, like focus, is amplified when protected from waste. A subtle but critical aspect of focus is the ability to observe without reacting. When working quietly, you have the advantage of perspective. You can watch trends, study competitors, and learn from the successes and failures of others. Observation without premature reaction allows you to make informed decisions. Many people rush to respond to every event, comment, or perceived threat. They react emotionally rather than strategically. Focusing in the shadows requires patience and restraint, using observation as a tool to act with precision when the time is optimal. The art of micro goals also enhances focus. Large goals can be overwhelming, creating anxiety and inaction. Breaking objectives into smaller, manageable tasks allows for continuous progress and frequent reinforcement. Each micro goal achieved builds momentum, confidence, and motivation. Quietly working toward these incremental wins ensures steady progress without drawing unnecessary attention. Over time, these small, focused efforts accumulate into transformative results. Embracing solitude is another vital factor. While collaboration is sometimes necessary, much of deep focus requires solitude. The ability to work independently without constant interaction fosters creativity, concentration, and resilience. Solitude allows the mind to explore ideas, analyze problems, and generate solutions without distraction. Many of history's greatest thinkers and creators, scientists, writers, and innovators credited their achievements to long hours spent alone, cultivating focus in the absence of noise. Silence complements focus. The less you talk about your work, the more energy you have to dedicate to it. Verbalizing your goals prematurely creates the illusion of progress while depleting motivation and commitment. Speaking about your ambitions can provide a temporary sense of satisfaction that substitutes for actual effort. By focusing quietly, you preserve motivation for action rather than for recognition. Results, when they arrive, carry more weight because they were earned in the unseen hours of dedicated work. Consistency is the engine that converts focus into achievement. Focus without persistence is wasted. Small, consistent actions performed daily compound into extraordinary results. It is not the occasional burst of effort that leads to mastery, but the relentless, steady application of attention and energy over time. Focusing in the shadows allows for this consistency because there is no pressure to perform publicly or seek approval. You do not work for applause, you work for results. Focus also requires adaptability. As you work quietly, obstacles, setbacks, and unexpected events will arise. The ability to adjust strategies without losing momentum is crucial. Those who act visibly are often judged harshly for every deviation, every error. Those who operate in the shadows can pivot, iterate, and innovate without fear of scrutiny. Flexibility in approach, combined with unwavering attention to the end goal, is a hallmark of quietly successful individuals. Another overlooked aspect of focus is the cultivation of curiosity. Deep focus is enhanced when you actively seek knowledge, study systems, and analyze outcomes. Curiosity drives learning and problem-solving, enabling you to refine techniques and uncover opportunities that others miss. Quiet learners often surpass their peers because they invest in understanding, skill building, and mastery without distraction or ego. Accountability, though internal, is central to focus. When no one else is watching, the measure of progress is your own diligence. You do not rely on praise, reminders, or recognition to maintain effort. Internal accountability fosters self-discipline, resilience, and integrity. It allows focus to remain steady, uninterrupted by external validation or interference. By holding yourself accountable, you create a system where progress depends solely on your commitment and action. Focus in the shadows also develops mental toughness. Challenges, delays, and adversity are inevitable in any pursuit. Those who work quietly cultivate the resilience to endure, the patience to persist, and the clarity to maintain direction. Noise, judgment, and pressure from others can easily derail individuals who seek recognition prematurely. Quiet focus shields against these disruptions, creating a psychological advantage that compounds over time. Finally, the payoff of focusing in the shadows is remarkable. When results emerge after months or years of unseen effort, the impact is far greater than if the journey had been broadcast. Achievements gain credibility, influence, and respect precisely because they were not accompanied by prior claims or promises. There is power in unveiling results rather than intentions, in demonstrating capability through action rather than words. In summary, focusing in the shadows is a deliberate, disciplined, and strategic approach to success. It combines clarity of purpose, structured habits, deep work, patience, mental clarity, energy management, observation, and adaptability. It values results over recognition, discipline over distraction, and action over announcement. Those who master this principle work quietly, learn continuously, and act strategically. Over time, their focused efforts accumulate into achievements that cannot be ignored, demonstrating the extraordinary power of attention, patience, and unseen effort. By embracing focus in the shadows, you position yourself to act decisively, endure patiently, and achieve powerfully. You learn that visibility is secondary to capability, that action outweighs words, and that quiet dedication compounds into success that resonates loudly when it finally emerges. The world may not notice your effort initially, but results, when revealed, will speak louder than any announcement ever could. Focus quietly, act consistently, and let outcomes define your legacy. Planning is an art, but planning without broadcasting is mastery. It is one thing to dream, another to strategize, and a completely different skill to plan quietly while letting the world remain unaware of your moves. Most people fail not because their plans are weak, but because they reveal them prematurely, allowing noise, criticism, and interference to derail progress. When you broadcast your intentions, you surrender control. By keeping plans private, you create freedom, maintain focus, and increase the likelihood of achieving what you set out to do. The quiet strategist always has the upper hand because the world reacts only to what it sees, and what it sees is carefully curated and revealed at the optimal moment. The first principle of planning without broadcasting is clarity of purpose. A plan without clarity is merely a wish. Before sharing any part of your vision with anyone, you must understand exactly what you want to achieve and why. This clarity ensures that every step you take, every resource you allocate, and every decision you make is aligned with your ultimate objective. Many people confuse talking about goals with working toward them. Sharing intentions can create the illusion of progress while dissipating the energy that should have been reserved for execution. True planners reserve their words for moments when action has been taken, results achieved, and influence can be wielded effectively. Strategic planning also requires visualization of outcomes. The mind responds powerfully to vivid images of the future. Quiet planners spend time imagining success in precise detail, the steps needed, the obstacles likely to arise, and the feelings of accomplishment when the goal is achieved. Visualization strengthens focus, reinforces determination, and primes the subconscious to work toward outcomes efficiently. Importantly, visualization is internal. It does not require external validation or discussion. By keeping this mental rehearsal private, you avoid external interference while preparing your mind for success. Another key aspect is resource management. Every plan requires allocation of time, energy, finances, and effort. Those who announce their intentions prematurely often find themselves pressured to spend resources on appearances rather than substance. By planning quietly, you have the freedom to deploy resources efficiently without outside expectation or judgment. Quiet strategists build reserves, create contingencies, and optimize their approach. They know that careful preparation behind the scenes allows for decisive action when the time is right. Planning without broadcasting also involves anticipating obstacles. Every path to achievement contains resistance, and those who share their plans openly often encounter it prematurely. Critics, competitors, or even well-meaning acquaintances may attempt to influence, delay, or complicate your journey. A quiet strategist anticipates these challenges, develops contingency strategies, and adapts without drawing attention. By expecting resistance but remaining unseen, you maintain momentum and avoid the distractions that derail others. Iteration and adjustment are critical in quiet planning. Rarely does the first draft of a strategy succeed perfectly. Plans must be flexible, responsive, and capable of evolving as circumstances change. Those who broadcast their plans risk criticism or interference every time adjustments are necessary. By keeping your strategy private, you can experiment, refine, and optimize in peace. Each iteration becomes a step closer to perfection, executed without external pressure or judgment. Patience is an indispensable component of quiet planning. Results are rarely immediate. Many ambitious individuals abandon plans prematurely because they expect instant recognition or reward. In reality, meaningful achievements require consistent effort, long-term commitment, and careful timing. When you plan in silence, you are free to pace your work, align your milestones with readiness, and act when the moment is most advantageous. Patience ensures that when your plan comes to fruition, it does so powerfully, leaving impact without question. The discipline of secrecy is also essential. Strategic planners cultivate the ability to maintain confidentiality, not only for competitive advantage, but also to preserve focus. The act of sharing intentions, even with supportive individuals, can introduce doubt, distraction, or subtle influence. By reserving your plans for execution rather than discussion, you protect the integrity of your strategy. This discipline also nurtures internal accountability, where progress is measured by action and results, not external acknowledgement. A quiet planner understands the psychology of influence. People tend to react strongly to statements and predictions. If you announce plans prematurely, you risk altering behavior in others that may interfere with your objectives. Competitors may counteract your moves, peers may offer unnecessary criticism, and friends or colleagues may unconsciously discourage you. Planning without broadcasting keeps the initiative in your hands. You control timing, messaging, and execution. You determine when the world sees your strategy, which maximizes impact and minimizes resistance. An overlooked aspect of quiet planning is prioritization. Not every idea, task, or opportunity warrants attention. By keeping plans private, you can evaluate priorities objectively, without external influence. Many people succumb to the pressure of appearing busy or productive. They act on visible opportunities rather than strategically selected ones. Quiet planners focus on high-impact actions, ignoring distractions that do not align with ultimate objectives. This selectivity ensures that effort is concentrated where it counts most. Effective quiet planning also involves tracking progress meticulously. Documentation, checklists, and reflective notes are tools of the silent strategist. Progress is measured in tangible metrics, not social approval. By tracking privately, you maintain accountability to your goals and can adjust as needed. External discussion often invites bias, encouragement, or discouragement that may misrepresent true progress. Private tracking ensures clarity and precision, enabling more informed decisions as the plan unfolds. The art of timing is central to planning without broadcasting. Many opportunities are lost not due to lack of preparation, but due to poor timing. Strategic planners understand the value of waiting for the optimal moment to act. By keeping plans private, you are not pressured by expectations or opinion to act prematurely. When the moment is right, execution is decisive and impactful. Timing amplifies the results of quiet preparation, turning well-laid plans into undeniable success. In addition, learning from observation is a cornerstone of quiet planning. By remaining silent, you can study environments, competitors, and trends without drawing attention. Observation informs better strategy. You gain insights into potential risks, opportunities, and patterns that guide your planning. Those who broadcast intentions often lose this advantage, as the focus shifts from observing to justifying or defending ideas. Silence allows for learning in real time, increasing the likelihood of strategic success. Another aspect of silent planning is the cultivation of resilience and independence. When your plan is private, your motivation is intrinsic rather than dependent on approval or validation. You learn to rely on your judgment, trust your decisions, and maintain effort despite uncertainty. This independence fosters strength of character and prepares you for inevitable setbacks. Quiet planners do not falter when recognition is absent. They persist because their commitment is internal. The discipline of discretion also extends to who you trust. Not every ally deserves insight into your strategy. Strategic thinkers carefully select confidence based on alignment, integrity, and discretion. Even well-intentioned individuals can inadvertently disrupt progress. By limiting exposure, you reduce risk and maintain control. Your plan progresses according to your terms, unencumbered by unnecessary interference. In practice, planning without broadcasting also means focusing on fundamentals rather than appearance. Many individuals fall into the trap of seeking external validation by showing effort rather than achieving results. A quiet planner invests in mastery, skill building, and preparation rather than appearances. Competence grows behind the scenes, and outcomes eventually reveal the true value of the effort. Those who act quietly develop the edge that cannot be imitated or faked. Strategic planning also requires balancing ambition with realism. While long-term vision is essential, goals must be achievable with the resources and time available. Private planners evaluate feasibility internally, make contingency plans, and align effort with realistic expectations. Public planning often invites unrealistic pressure and external interference, while silent planning allows for measured ambition paired with practical action. Importantly, planning in secrecy nurtures confidence rooted in capability rather than perception. External acknowledgement can create dependency and instability in motivation. By executing plans quietly, confidence becomes internal and self-sustaining. You rely on competence, preparation, and discipline rather than applause or approval. This internal confidence allows for bold, decisive action when the time comes. The final stage of planning without broadcasting is execution. A plan remains inert until acted upon. Quiet planners ensure that action is deliberate, focused, and strategically timed. Execution reveals the outcome, while silence preserves the integrity and impact of the effort. When success is unveiled, it carries power precisely because the world has not been conditioned by prior announcement. The results speak louder than words ever could. In essence, planning without broadcasting is a combination of clarity, discipline, discretion, observation, patience, and deliberate action. It allows for optimization of resources, refinement of strategy, and controlled execution. By keeping intentions private, you protect your path from interference, maintain freedom to adapt, and amplify the eventual impact of results. Silent planning transforms strategy into power and preparation into influence. When this approach is mastered, the advantage is undeniable. Competitors underestimate your capacity, peers respect your efficiency, and opportunities align with precision. The quiet planner achieves consistently, builds momentum invisibly, and unleashes outcomes decisively. Every step, every adjustment, every effort compounds, unseen until the moment arrives for maximum effect. In conclusion, planning without broadcasting is not secrecy for its own sake. It is strategic mastery. It emphasizes internal accountability, careful resource management, observation, adaptability, and patience. It cultivates resilience, confidence, and independence. It ensures that when action is finally taken, results are undeniable, impactful, and commanding. By embracing the power of quiet planning, you retain control, maximize effectiveness, and achieve success that is both impressive and unassailable. The world will only notice your victories, not your efforts, and that is precisely the point. By planning without broadcasting, you create a life in which results, not words, define your capability, influence, and legacy. Let others talk, you execute. Let others seek recognition, you build mastery. Let others act prematurely, you succeed strategically, quietly, and with power that cannot be challenged. In the journey of achievement, one of the greatest challenges is not the absence of opportunities or lack of skill, it is the noise of the world and the naysayers who populate it. Every person pursuing success will encounter voices of doubt, criticism, and distraction. Some of these voices are external, emanating from colleagues, friends, family, or competitors. Others are internal, rooted in your own fears, insecurities, and doubts. Overcoming noise and naysayers is a critical skill for anyone who wishes to act in silence, focus intently, and achieve extraordinary results. It is not merely about ignoring criticism, it is about developing mental frameworks, strategies, and resilience that allow you to maintain direction, energy, and clarity in spite of opposition. The first step in overcoming noise is understanding its source. Noise often comes in the form of unsolicited advice, opinions, or criticism. While some feedback can be valuable, much of it is driven by the speaker's own fears, limitations, or agendas. People often judge what they do not understand, and when they see someone moving quietly toward success, they may project their own insecurities onto that person. Recognizing that noise is often reflective of others' limitations rather than your own abilities is empowering. It allows you to separate signal from distraction, insight from interference. Naysayers serve a different purpose. They are more persistent, vocal, and emotionally charged than general noise. A naysayer is someone who doubts your capacity, discourages effort, or attempts to undermine progress. They may be competitors seeking advantage, peers projecting jealousy, or even friends and family who fear change. Naysayers test your resilience and commitment. While many people are derailed by negative commentary, those who act quietly and maintain focus develop immunity to its effects. They learn that external judgment is irrelevant to the internal drive that fuels achievement. One of the most powerful tools in overcoming noise is mental reframing. Every criticism, doubt, or negative remark can be reframed as information rather than a barrier. Instead of internalizing judgment, view it as a signal, either as insight you can use to improve, or as a reflection of someone else's mindset that is irrelevant to your objectives. This approach transforms what could be demotivating into a neutral or even constructive force. By mentally reframing negativity, you maintain clarity and composure, and avoid the emotional drain that often accompanies criticism. Silence is itself a strategy against noise and naysayers. When you act quietly, you minimize exposure to premature judgment. People cannot derail what they cannot see. By working in the shadows, you reduce opportunities for interference. Quiet effort allows you to develop momentum, refine strategy, and accumulate progress without external pressure. The world may not notice your preparation, but when results emerge, they carry authority precisely because they were achieved despite skepticism and doubt. Developing emotional resilience is equally important. Noise and naysayers can trigger frustration, anger, or self-doubt if you are unprepared. Emotional resilience involves cultivating the ability to remain calm, composed, and focused in the presence of negativity. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, and self-reflection strengthen resilience. By maintaining emotional stability, you preserve energy for productive action rather than wasting it on defensive reactions or confrontation. Those who master resilience act decisively while others are distracted by emotional turmoil. Another critical principle is selective attention. Not all voices deserve attention. Learn to filter input, evaluating whether a comment or critique has substance and relevance. Most noise is noise for a reason. It distracts rather than informs. By selectively attending only to feedback that contributes meaningfully to your growth, you conserve mental energy and maintain focus. This discernment is a skill cultivated over time, requiring practice, observation, and self-awareness. Understanding the psychology of naysayers is also a key defensive strategy. Often, those who seek to undermine your progress are projecting their own insecurities, limitations, or disappointments. They are attempting to normalize their reality by discouraging others from achieving beyond it. Recognizing that naysayers act from their own fear, not your inadequacy, allows you to depersonalize criticism. It prevents emotional entanglement, enabling strategic response rather than reactive confrontation. The internal dialogue you cultivate is as important as external defense. Self-doubt can amplify the noise of naysayers if unchecked. Quiet achievers develop an internal voice of affirmation, reminding themselves of past successes, skills, and purpose. This internal reinforcement stabilizes confidence and maintains motivation. When the mind is aligned with goals, external skepticism has minimal power to influence behavior. Another technique for overcoming noise is setting boundaries. Protect your environment, time, and energy from individuals who consistently introduce negativity. Boundaries are not about alienation, they are about prioritizing your capacity to act effectively. Limiting exposure to persistent naysayers, toxic discussions, or unproductive debates allows you to maintain clarity and focus. The quiet achiever understands that energy is finite, and protecting it is a form of strategic advantage. Silence also fosters strategic observation of the naysayers themselves. By refraining from engaging immediately, you gain insight into motives, tendencies, and patterns of behavior. Observation allows you to anticipate interference, respond selectively, and maintain initiative. Many people respond impulsively to criticism, escalating conflict or diverting attention from their objectives. Quiet, thoughtful observation transforms potential distractions into strategic intelligence. Cultivating a mindset of indifference to approval is essential. Naysayers thrive on eliciting reaction. When your confidence is rooted in competence rather than recognition, their influence diminishes. Approval-seeking behavior gives power to external voices. By prioritizing action and results over validation, you neutralize the effectiveness of criticism. The quiet achiever works for impact, not applause, rendering negativity impotent. Focus on actionable steps rather than responding to commentary. Every moment spent defending, explaining, or justifying your intentions is time taken away from progress. Those who overcome noise prioritize execution over dialogue. They act decisively in alignment with their goals, allowing results to communicate capability and resolve. Action is the ultimate response to doubt, more persuasive than any argument. Another important aspect is delayed engagement. Not every situation requires immediate response. By waiting, you can evaluate whether engagement is necessary, determine the appropriate method, and act strategically. Immediate reaction often plays into the hands of naysayers, giving them influence over your emotional state or timing. Delayed engagement preserves control, allowing you to choose when and how to respond, if at all. Developing confidence in your process strengthens resistance to external noise. When you trust your methods, preparation, and judgment, the opinions of others have less weight. Confidence in process fosters patience, reduces impulsive reactions, and increases resilience in the face of criticism. Quiet achievers rely on systems, discipline, and skill rather than constant reassurance. Their trust in preparation allows them to act decisively even when skepticism surrounds them. Accountability structures within your private work can further insulate against noise. By measuring progress through objective milestones and tangible results, you maintain clarity about performance independent of others' opinions. Internal accountability reinforces discipline, encourages consistency, and reduces vulnerability to distraction. Naysayers may speak, but your metrics define reality. A subtle but powerful tactic is using silence as leverage. By withholding reaction, commentary, or disclosure, you maintain initiative. Naysayers often act impulsively, seeking to provoke response or reaction. Quiet composure shifts control to you. Those who master this principle can influence situations through presence and action rather than words. Silence becomes a strategic tool that amplifies impact. Building a network of supportive, aligned individuals also mitigates noise. While isolation can foster focus, human connections remain vital for perspective, advice, and encouragement. Surround yourself with people who respect boundaries, provide constructive feedback, and align with your values. Supportive allies reduce the amplification of negativity and offer measured insight when needed. Another crucial strategy is self-reflection. Regularly reviewing your goals, progress, and mindset allows you to distinguish between valid critique and irrelevant noise. Reflection strengthens judgment, enhances decision-making, and fortifies emotional resilience. Quiet achievers engage in continuous self-assessment, ensuring that energy is directed toward meaningful action rather than defensive reactions. Overcoming naysayers also involves nurturing humility alongside confidence. Recognize that criticism, when valid, can illuminate blind spots. At the same time, differentiate between constructive feedback and unhelpful negativity. Humility enables growth, while selective discernment protects focus. The balance of humility and confidence ensures that you remain adaptable, informed, and resilient in pursuit of objectives. Developing mental routines to manage noise enhances productivity. Daily practices such as meditation, visualization, and focused reflection reduce susceptibility to distraction. They strengthen concentration, stabilize emotion, and cultivate clarity of purpose. Quiet achievers integrate these routines into their workflow, creating an internal buffer against the chaos of external voices. Finally, embracing persistence is essential. Noise and naysayers will always exist. Avoidance is impossible. What matters is the capacity to maintain consistent effort despite opposition. Persistence compounds effort, builds credibility, and eventually silences skepticism through undeniable results. The quiet achiever endures, refines, and executes relentlessly, transforming opposition into irrelevance. In conclusion, overcoming noise and naysayers is a disciplined practice of observation, mental reframing, emotional resilience, selective attention, internal accountability, and strategic action. It involves understanding the sources of interference, protecting energy, filtering feedback, and focusing on results over approval. By mastering these principles, you transform distraction into clarity, criticism into insight, and opposition into fuel for growth. The quiet achiever does not argue with every voice, defend every decision, or react to every challenge. Instead, they cultivate focus, trust in their process, and resilience in the face of doubt. When their work emerges, the results are undeniable. Noise becomes irrelevant, skepticism powerless, and naysayers silent. By embracing these principles, you ensure that your journey remains uninterrupted, your vision uncompromised, and your success inevitable. The ability to rise above noise and criticism is not accidental, it is deliberate. It is the product of self-discipline, mental fortitude, and strategic intelligence. Those who master it move through the world with clarity, efficiency, and confidence. They understand that external judgment does not define their path, only action, perseverance, and results do. Quietly, steadily, and strategically, they advance toward their goals, leaving the chatter of others behind. And when the moment arrives, their achievements speak louder than any words ever could. Success is most powerful when it is revealed, but the journey to that success is often most potent when hidden. Winning publicly while celebrating privately is the culmination of the principles we have explored so far: focus, silence, planning, and resilience. It is the art of allowing your results to speak for themselves while reserving your emotional satisfaction for yourself. By mastering this approach, you maintain dignity, leverage, and clarity, while inspiring respect and admiration without ostentation. The world will witness the outcome of your efforts, but the inner reward, the fulfillment, pride, and sense of mastery remains your own. The first principle of winning publicly is strategic impact. When you reveal success, it should be undeniable, consequential, and meaningful. Small, premature announcements rarely command attention. They may even invite skepticism or criticism. A quiet achiever understands that preparation, patience, and timing amplify the effect of accomplishment. By executing quietly and revealing results at the optimal moment, you maximize both recognition and influence. Public success is not about boasting, it is about demonstrating capability and authority that cannot be ignored. Celebrating privately, on the other hand, preserves humility and internal satisfaction. While public acknowledgement validates results externally, private celebration reinforces intrinsic motivation. It allows you to experience the depth of accomplishment without seeking constant validation. Private celebration also ensures that the act of winning does not become performative or dependent on audience reaction. The joy of achievement remains grounded in effort, discipline, and mastery rather than applause or recognition. A key aspect of this principle is timing. The quiet achiever does not feel compelled to announce every milestone. They understand that visibility before the right moment can dilute impact or invite interference. By withholding disclosure until success is secure, they maintain control over perception, influence, and narrative. Timing transforms ordinary outcomes into extraordinary statements. When the work is complete and results are undeniable, the world's attention naturally gravitates toward the achievement, magnifying its significance. Public wins also carry a strategic advantage. When results are revealed at the right moment, they shift perception, influence opportunities, and enhance credibility. Competitors and peers adjust their behavior based on observable success rather than promises or claims. This form of impact is far more powerful than announcements or claims because it is rooted in reality rather than expectation. Quiet achievers leverage this phenomenon to secure resources, trust, and respect in both personal and professional domains. Another crucial principle is consistency over flashiness. Public success is amplified when it is the result of sustained effort, not sporadic bursts of activity. When others observe steady, reliable achievement, they recognize mastery, discipline, and resilience. Quiet achievers focus on cumulative progress rather than immediate recognition. Over time, repeated, consistent results build authority, influence, and reputation that far outlast the transient attention given to momentary success. Mastering this principle requires emotional intelligence. Public recognition can trigger envy, competition, or scrutiny from others. The quiet achiever navigates these dynamics by responding with composure, grace, and discretion. They do not seek to provoke or manipulate perception. Instead, they allow competence, results, and strategic timing to communicate their value. Emotional intelligence ensures that public exposure enhances influence rather than creating unnecessary conflict or distraction. Private celebration reinforces self-awareness and reflection. After achieving a milestone, taking time to internalize the journey, acknowledge effort, and appreciate growth strengthens both confidence and resilience. Many people rush to publicize success without understanding the depth of their achievement. Private reflection allows the quiet achiever to connect with the process, recognize learning, and extract lessons for future growth. This introspection is both energizing and stabilizing, preparing them for the next phase of effort. Another aspect is managing perception. Public wins should communicate capability without creating resentment or undue expectation. By revealing success strategically, the quiet achiever controls narrative and influence. Public recognition becomes a tool rather than a distraction. Others are impressed by tangible results, while the achiever retains discretion about process, strategy, and future plans. This careful balance ensures authority without arrogance, visibility without exposure. Winning publicly also requires confidence in value creation. Achievements resonate more when they are meaningful, impactful, and relevant. Quiet achievers ensure that results contribute real value, whether to a team, community, or audience, rather than being superficial displays. The credibility of accomplishment amplifies influence, trust, and respect. Private celebration ensures that the emotional reward remains intact, independent of external recognition. A subtle but powerful principle is detachment from external validation. Public recognition is transient. It is shaped by perception, mood, and context. The quiet achiever derives satisfaction primarily from internal metrics: effort, skill, strategy, and discipline. External applause may accompany results, but it does not define them. Detachment from validation preserves focus, reduces vulnerability to criticism, and maintains internal motivation for sustained achievement. Strategic communication is also important. When revealing success publicly, it should be framed in a way that maximizes impact and influence without arrogance. Modesty, clarity, and relevance enhance credibility. Overstatement or exaggeration diminishes authority, while understated presentation allows results to speak loudly. Quiet achievers master the art of letting outcomes communicate rather than words, creating lasting impression and strategic leverage. Private celebration reinforces gratitude and perspective, recognizing effort, resilience, and the contributions of others without seeking external approval fosters balance and humility. It reminds achievers that success is not solely individual, but often supported by relationships, preparation, and perseverance. Gratitude strengthens psychological resilience, encourages sustained effort, and deepens satisfaction with accomplishment. A core element of winning publicly while celebrating privately is focus on the next step. Celebration is not an endpoint, it is an acknowledgement of progress within a larger journey. Quiet achievers use private satisfaction as fuel for continued growth. They maintain momentum, refine skills, and set new goals without letting public recognition create complacency. The cycle of effort, accomplishment, reflection, and quiet celebration perpetuates continuous improvement. Another principle is strategic humility. While public success attracts attention, quiet achievers resist the temptation to boast, inflate accomplishments, or overexpose the journey. Humility enhances credibility, fosters respect, and encourages genuine influence. Those who win publicly without ostentation inspire others through example rather than self-promotion. Private celebration maintains emotional reward without compromising strategic advantage. The practice of recording achievements privately is also valuable. Journaling, reflection, and self-assessment allow quiet achievers to document progress, recognize learning, and internalize lessons. These private records provide perspective, track growth, and reinforce motivation independent of external acknowledgement. The internal archive of achievements strengthens focus, discipline, and strategic planning for future objectives. Public recognition also carries the opportunity for strategic influence. When results are revealed, they can inspire, motivate, or shift perception in ways that align with long-term goals. By controlling the timing and manner of disclosure, quiet achievers leverage success to create opportunities, strengthen relationships, and amplify authority. Strategic influence is maximized when preparation, execution, and reveal are synchronized for maximum impact. Private celebration ensures emotional equilibrium. External praise, attention, or recognition can trigger ego inflation or dependence on approval. Quiet reflection allows emotional processing to remain balanced, preventing overconfidence or distraction. By internalizing the joy of accomplishment, the achiever strengthens psychological resilience and prepares for the next challenge. Another important dimension is strategic storytelling. When public success is eventually revealed, it can be framed as a narrative that emphasizes perseverance, effort, and skill rather than luck or opportunity. Quiet achievers understand that narrative shapes perception, enhances credibility, and magnifies impact. Private reflection provides the insight and clarity necessary to communicate results effectively without unnecessary embellishment. The principle of celebrating privately also nurtures discipline. Recognition becomes a byproduct rather than the driver of effort. The quiet achiever acts consistently because they value mastery, skill, and progress more than external applause. This intrinsic motivation sustains effort over long periods, allowing consistent, compounding achievement that ultimately results in undeniable success. Moreover, winning publicly while celebrating privately fosters strategic resilience. The world's reaction is unpredictable. Some may admire, some may doubt, and some may attempt to undermine. By keeping emotional reward internal, the quiet achiever remains unshaken by external judgment. Results are acknowledged, leveraged, and celebrated in alignment with personal values rather than dictated by audience response. The habit of strategic patience reinforces this principle. Rather than rushing to announce every success, quiet achievers wait until the impact is significant, measurable, and undeniable. Patience amplifies credibility, influence, and respect. It ensures that recognition aligns with achievement rather than aspiration. The combination of patience, preparation, and timing creates a resonance that commands attention and admiration naturally. Private celebration also cultivates mental clarity for future goals. Reflecting on achievement without distraction allows assessment of lessons learned, identification of growth areas, and planning for the next stage. It preserves focus, maintains momentum, and ensures that each victory becomes a stepping stone rather than an endpoint. Continuous, quiet reflection strengthens strategic foresight and adaptive capability. Another subtle advantage is protection from envy and interference. When celebration remains private, it reduces opportunities for jealousy, manipulation, or sabotage from others. Quiet achievers safeguard the integrity of their accomplishments by limiting exposure of the emotional significance of success. The combination of public results and private satisfaction minimizes interference while maximizing influence. Finally, winning publicly while celebrating privately represents the ultimate integration of all principles previously discussed: silence, focus, strategic planning, resilience, and discretion. It is the moment when effort, patience, discipline, and strategy converge into tangible, undeniable outcomes. By allowing results to communicate capability while reserving personal reward internally, quiet achievers achieve both impact and fulfillment. They inspire influence and command respect without ostentation, remaining grounded in purpose and mastery. In conclusion, the art of winning publicly and celebrating privately is the culmination of disciplined action, strategic patience, and internalized motivation. It emphasizes timing, impact, humility, resilience, reflection, and intrinsic reward. Quiet achievers understand that external recognition is temporary and situational, while internal satisfaction, skill, and mastery endure. By integrating these principles, you achieve influence, credibility, and fulfillment simultaneously. The world will witness your results, your competence, and your impact. Yet the joy, pride, and mastery you derive remain your own, preserved through discretion and reflection. This balance between public visibility and private reward is the hallmark of strategic achievement. It allows you to inspire, lead, and influence while maintaining control, focus, and emotional equilibrium. By practicing this principle consistently, you ensure that every success resonates meaningfully, every effort compounds quietly, and every accomplishment commands attention without unnecessary exposure. You master the art of action over talk, results over recognition, and substance over showmanship. You win publicly, but your celebration, your deepest satisfaction, remains yours, intact and powerful. The quiet achiever moves through life with authority, influence, and lasting impact, demonstrating that true mastery lies not in announcing effort, but in executing it with precision, patience, and purpose.